Travelers could face long wait times this summer as airport security is increased in the wake of the attacks in Brussels. Only a few flights are operating out of Brussels this week, but there is a ton of armed security.
Today, the head of the TSA, Peter Neffenger, testified on Capitol Hill about his agency's plans to keep America's airports safe. He was in Brussels at the time of the attack. Today, he described publicly what it was like to see the chaos at the airport firsthand.
We arrived right as the bombs detonated, and I will tell you, being there on that day, seeing the devastation, seeing the chaos of the airport environment and the evil behind it was a stark reminder of the importance of the work that we do at TSA every day to protect travelers.
Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues is with us now from Washington. So, Jeff, what are we going to see as a result of these hearings today?
Well, what we saw in the hours after the Brussels attack, DHS announced that it was stepping up security at important transportation hubs. And today, if you were expecting some sort of sweeping changes at airports and major transportation hubs across the country, don't expect to see that, in other words, because what Neffenger talked about today wasn't any type of sweeping changes. It was more reinforcing what TSA and other security personnel at airports across the country are already doing. Of course, as we discussed in the hours and days after the Brussels attacks, those attacks, because they happened in terms of what happened at the airport there, in a non-secure area, there were some U.S. officials who told us that, hey, this exposes some soft spots in security at airports. But frankly, U.S. Law enforcement officials have been aware of these so-called soft spots for some time now. There have been incidents here in this country in non-secure areas at airports. So the security challenges that law enforcement is facing in the wake of the Brussels attacks in terms of protecting major transportation hubs really is not something new. It's something that they've been trying to address over the last several years.
Jeff, so one of those sort of soft areas, I guess you could say, people are wondering, so certainly passengers are being screened, but what about employees at airports? What are you hearing about that?
Well, that's a very good question, and that's an issue that keeps coming up over and over and over again. It's the so-called insider threat, and that is the threat that a lot of security personnel are concerned about, this threat from employees, people working in airports, because what we've found is that they are not screened, obviously, as vigorously as the passengers are on a daily basis. There are only, at last count, 2 airports across the country that are screening airport employees every day, and that is the airport in Miami as well as the airport in Orlando. So there are many security professionals who are concerned about that insider threat, and it's something that was really revealed with this undercover investigation that was done by the DHS Inspector General last summer, and it leaked out, and it was quite embarrassing for DHS officials because it revealed that in 95% of the tests that they did, contraband was able to slip through the security apparatus in place at airports across the country. So this idea of the insider threat is something that a lot of people across the country in terms of security professionals are concerned about, and really members of Congress as well. They've been talking about it too.
About that undercover investigation, though, Jeff, was there any talk about what they're going to do about those lapses, how they're going to improve the system?
Well, sure. When that was made public, as I said, it was embarrassing for DHS. DHS Secretary Jay Johnson announced all sorts of reforms that they've been putting in place over the last 6 to 8 months or so, and that includes retraining many of the personnel manning these security checkpoints at airports. However, still this issue of the insider threat remains. There are a lot of people still concerned about that because there isn't this screening of airport employees every single day.
Jeff Pegues, thank you.